Good day. My name is Sabinino Prego, and today I will discuss the case GR number 212201, which involves crime of rape. This case revolves around Rodolfo Espinosa, who was convicted of crime statutory rape. In this video, I will discuss the facts, legal issue, court decision, and application of the law, and elements of the crime. So, when and how rape is committed. So, elements number one, by a man who shall have carnal knowledge of a woman under any of the following. A. Through force, threat, or intimidation. B. When the offended party is deprived of reason or otherwise unconscious. C. By means of fraudulent machination or grave abuse of authority. D. When the offended party is under 12 years of age or is demented, even though none of the circumstances mentioned above be present. Fact of the case. AAA was young, last suffering from mental retardation around 7 o'clock in the evening of May 2, 2007, who was then 16 years of age but with a mental capacity of 6 years old. She went out of their house with some neighbors to watch a basketball game in a nearby basketball court. Upon returning home at approximately 11 o'clock in the evening, the same date, BBB, who was AAA mother, noticed that the latter's pants were wet. Prompted by suspicion, BBB asked AAA to remove her pants. Thereupon, she smelled her underwear, which emitted the scent of semen. When asked by her mother, AAA eventually admitted that her accused appellant, whom she calls Dodong, was known to them as a delivery boy in their neighborhood. Upon acquiring such information, BBB immediately reported the incident to the barangay authorities. The barangay authorities, with the help of the police officers, then proceeded to arrest the appellant, who was found at a neighbor's house. At the time of his arrest, he was drunk. Later on, in the morning, upon questioning by authorities, the accused appellant admitted in front of his employer and AA's mothers that he had sex with AAA and that he loves AAA and he offered to marry AAA. He also requested that BBB and the barangay authorities not to file case against him. Subsequently, a criminal complaint for rape was filed against accused appellant. So, what was the prosecution's evidence? The prosecution was able to establish through clinical and testimonial evidence that AAA is suffering from moderate mental retardation with an IQ of 43 with a mental capacity of 6 years old. The trial court also noted that, as admitted by accused appellant, he knew of the condition of the victim. So, what was the defense of argument? In his defense, accused appellant denied the allegation of the prosecution and also raised the defense of alibi. He said that between the hours of 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock in the midnight of the same date, he was busy by painting the house of his neighbors. Then after, he goes to GMA Cavite and repaired his electric fan. And then he had drinking session with his friend at latter's house. So the accused also admitted that victim was residing at the same place and at the time of the incident. He had known the victim for 1 month. So we are here in the legal issue. So the issue in this case is whether the accused is guilty beyond reasonable doubt of statutory rape and is hereby sentenced to suffer the penalty of reclusion perpetua without eligibility for parole. So next is the court decision and its rationale. The court finds the accused Rodolfo Diniega y Espinosa guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the statutory rape and is hereby sentenced to suffer penalty of reclusion perpetua without the eligibility for parole. The accused is ordered to pay the victim the following 5,000 pesos as a civil indemnity and 75,000 pesos as a moral damage and 30,000 pesos as a exemplary damage. The RTC ruled that the prosecution was able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the accused had sexual intercourse with the victim. The RTC gave full credence to the testimony of AAA, holding that she testified in the rape that happened to her in a straightforward manner and categorical manner. The trial court did not give weight to the accused appellant's defense of alibi because the place where he claims to be at the time of the rape is just 3 streets away from the scene of the crime. According to the court, it is not physically impossible for him to be at the said scene at the time of his commission of rape. The RTC also noted that the accused appellant failed to account for his whereabouts between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the evening, which the approximate time that AAA was raped. Application of the law and elements of the crime. Statutory rape is committed when elements number 1, the offended party is under 12 years of age, and elements number 2, the accused has carnal knowledge of her, regardless of whether there was a force, threat, or intimidation, whether the victim was deprived of her reason or consciousness, or whether it was done through fraud or grave or abuse of authority. It is enough that the age of the victim is proven and that there was an sexual intercourse. Statutory rape is penalized under Article 266A. It carries the penalty of reclusion perpetua under Article 266B, unless attended by qualifying circumstances defined therein, among which is when the offender knew of the mental disability, an emotional disorder, or physical handicap of the offended party at the time of the commission of the crime, and in which case that death penalty shall be imposed. So kung naa daw ni nga elements sa crime nga nabuhat, ang dapat ko ng penalty is death. In my case that I choose, the victim was below 12 years old at the time of the commission of the rape. Moreover, it was alleged that the information established by the prosecution that the suspect has knowledge of her mental disability. So, mo na iyang crimen is statutory rape and na siya penalty of from death penalty to reclusion perpetua. So, my conclusion, this case highlights the application of revised penal code in the prosecution of rape, particularly when the victim is minor and have mental disability. It is important to have a credible testimony and medical evidence, and the victim's testimony supported by medical evidence, because it is crucial to finding or establishing elements of the crime committed. The court rely heavily on evidence presented to determine the possible judgments of the crime and punishment. I learned that in this case, that every act of evil or crime has due process, even though the accused already admitted such a crime to the court. The court still determine whether there is an aggravating circumstances. The court will determine the possible penalty of an offender like reclusion temporal or reclusion perpetua or life imprisonment so that the victim will get his her or justice. That's it, sir. Thank you, sir.